The Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What is up, everybody?
How's it going?
What's funny is we were just on here exactly 1 week ago right now, and we had a nice discussion with our buddy JB from the Lions. And we talked about what each team needed to do in order to win the game. And then the Vikings go out, and we do exactly the opposite, and we lose. In fact, we get our ass kicked.
Shit the bed.
Oh, man. Who wants to start on one? I mean, there is a laundry list of stuff that went wrong. And to be honest, the first half wasn't so bad, minus the fact that this was Sam Darnold's worst game as a Viking by a mile. It's probably one of his worst games, period. I counted at least 5 throws to the end zone where if he would have not thrown so hard or so high or been off, those were touchdowns. And then just in the middle of the field, I mean, Hawkinson could have had 110 yards of receiving if the ball wasn't going, 4 feet over top of his top vertical jump. Our defense did well, I think, in the first half, hanging in there. I mean, they were forcing turnovers. We could not take advantage of anything. I feel like the momentum changer in the game was when we should have had that safety on Goff in the end zone. And I guess I don't know if that's not a safety, I don't know what one is. But when they took that away from us, and then instead of stopping them, we let them go ahead and take off on this drive and everything. That was the backbreaker, in my opinion. That was the momentum shifter. And we, even at halftime, we just could not come out and get things adjusted. In fact, it went way worse. Matthew Lesturi, what were you thinking watching this shit show?
Yeah, I'm going to start off by just addressing that last comment about pressure does amazing things. And that's true, but it wasn't even under pressure. There were times where he was getting all day in the fucking pocket, and he still was just sailing the throws. And it was just wild. Like, you hear all the time, and it is a cliche, but I am going to use it. It was definitely one of those, we beat ourselves more than they beat us because we were making the plays. We had the fumbles. We had Akers with that super long run that put us in the red zone. We had 4 red zone attempts within the 15-yard line to put up touchdowns in that first half, and we couldn't do it. That safety call would have given us 2 points and the ball. Didn't happen. Like, we held them to 14 points, the number one scoring offense over the last 20 years in the NFL, and we held them
Yeah.
to 14 points in the first half, and we couldn't put points on the board. It was deflating. I don't know how else to put it. It was deflating.
Yeah, you could see it. I mean, and of those 4 trips, we end up getting 3 field goals because we did go for it on a 4th and short, and we didn't get it one time. And I don't know if Kevin O'Connell was just trying to give Dan Campbell a taste of his own medicine or whatever, but yeah, that didn't work. It was a combination of all these things, and you could just tell the word deflated and just dejectured. I mean, you could see it on the guys' faces after about the 4th or 5th time that we walk away and don't have anything, and you just knew the way this game was going to go. Chesty, what do you think?
Well, first off, I do want to address a few things before I get into my thing. We are dedicating this show to all those who are being impacted by the Los Angeles wildfires. I have a cousin who just had a voluntary evac out of Chino, California. One fire is getting a little bit close to him, so he is evacuating down to San Diego. We have on our ticker, should you choose to make a donation to the California Fire Foundation, their website, and all the money will be dispersed, to people who absolutely need it. The game, of course, is being moved to Arizona. When they announced that the Hornets-Lakers game was being postponed, to me, that was the writing on the wall, that it was going to happen. As far as our game, well, and I do have an update. The Palisades fire, which I'm going to put us right here. If this doesn't break your heart, I don't know what will. This is just terrible. And I'm from Southern California, as you can tell by my name. 11% containment of Palisades fire. They are making some adjustments. Our game. I turned it off after the 3rd quarter after we were losing by 2 touchdowns. And I just watched the Golden Globes with my wife. Because she didn't want me to absolutely rage and just wake up our kids.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I'm in a group chat with a bunch of Packers and Lions fans, and I was giving the Packers fans hell for losing to the Bears, so I had to stick around and take my lickings that night.
Yeah.
It was we shat the bed. I don't know if we just let up after halftime and just think we got this or whatever. I'm gonna say cockiness was the biggest thing that got to us. Whatever we did, let's not do this week.
Yeah. And the Rams are not the Lions. Let's just be clear on that. I know they beat us in the early round of the season, but that was a 4-day turnaround, and we were missing some pretty key players that game. So,
yeah, we didn't have. We had Shaq Griffin injured. We had.
I believe Cashman was out.
Cashman was out. And they had just gotten Puka Nacua and back and everything. Puka Nacua killed us on that first matchup.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's kind of a focal point there and everything. And then, being able to get consistent pressure on Stafford. And Stafford to still get his yards, we have to minimize the damage, and we have to take advantage of what we have on offense. This game will really key around which Sam Darnold decides to show up. Okay, you had a stinker. You're still a 14-3 team, and you're a 14-3 team because largely of your play, Sam Darnold. So Sam Darnold needs to show us who he really is in this game.
Mm-hmm.
You take just everybody has just a shitty bad game every now and then, and Darnold did. It feels like the Lions are riding a massive streak of luck, and with all the injuries and whatever else, they still managed to keep on winning. Now they get a bye week, and they get to rest a week until they come back and everything. And there's this comment: Vikings fans are so cocky, laugh out loud, like you really thought you would win in Detroit. $2 million well spent. Well, maybe see you in a week. I don't think the fans were cocky. because if you watch this show last week, we were saying it was going to be pretty damn close, and it could go either way. In fact, we had a Lions fan who is a sports writer for a newspaper on this show, and discussed how of all the games we played this year, we were all concerned about that Lions game, especially going into Detroit.
Well, and what 14-2 team's not going to be cocky? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think the players were comfortable that they had a good game plan, and then when everything fell apart, I think they panicked. And that's why you saw the kind of performance you saw to Sam Darnold and everything else. They hadn't faced adversity since the last time that we really, were in trouble playing the Rams in LA. And you look at the first game that the Vikings and Lions played was very, very close. I think the Vikings had a right to be confident. I don't think anybody should ever be cocky and everything, but I don't think it's a good idea to talk about Vikings fans, considering what we saw out of some of the Lions fans and all the reports coming back from players, wives, the girlfriends, the family members, the super fans in attendance that did go, and everything that were able to attend that game. My challenge and it's not all the Lions fans. The Lions fans that hang out with us in the VWO and that come to Minnesota are great fans. They'll hang out with us from Friday night all the way till the game is done on Sunday or Monday, whatever it happens to be. And they're actually great friends. That's not what was going on with a lot of the people in the stadium. And my challenge to the good, respectable Lions fans and our friends that have always, we've went there and watched games. They've come here and watched games over the past 20 years. Get after your buddies that are acting up. I get it. This is your second year in a row of being a really, really good team and everything. And you had a hell of a year, best record in franchise history. You're the number one seed in the NFC. You finally got over the hump, but act like you know what it is like to win. You don't have to be an asshole and trash the opposing fans in the stadiums, because that's not what any team should be doing. A little good-natured shit talk about the football teams and everything else, but you start laying your hands on people, especially when there's women that are there that are clearly pregnant, and then you turn around, you make a big thing that gets over 1,000 comments on it. Well, who would bring a pregnant woman to a game and everything? Fans. Stop excusing shitty behavior. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say about that. But, you have a lot of wonderful super fans there in Detroit. You ones that are wonderful, police up the rest of them, teach them how it's done.
Yeah, I do got something to say about it. Any fan, and I'm not saying talking to Lions fans, I'm talking to all 32 fan bases. If you see someone getting sexually harassed, I don't care if it's a male, female, whatever, you see that shit, you stop it immediately. Okay? We are taking back the stands. You see anything like that, you immediately report it to security. It is disgusting. It reflects poorly upon the fan base that you represent, and it shows that you have no integrity.
Yeah, I think that will be a good learning experience. And like I said, there are a ton of great Detroit Lion fans out there. I think this is a good opportunity for them to actually reach out to the fellow people that are sitting around them in the stadium and do a little coaching up on, how to host opposing teams, even if it is your most hated rival. We had just gotten done the week earlier hosting the Packer fans at US Bank Stadium. I was up there. Matthew was up there. Chesterton, anyways. Steve Tate, the Packer owner, the guy you always see on TV that's got the cheese head that says NFL owner and everything, hung out with us before and then spent quite a bit. In fact, he parked right next to me in the lot. And we talked for quite a while afterwards. And he said, with the exception of one drunk lady.
It's this guy right here.
He hung out with you too. With the exception of one drunk lady in the stands, he said it was still a wonderful experience, even though they didn't win, to be able to come and watch his favorite team play and interact with all of us and everything. That's how it should be, you guys, not all this extracurricular and actually hands on people is, I mean, that's no matter where you go. I mean, don't take Philly's reputation away from them.
Right. Honestly.
So,
Yeah.
lots of good. And Brent, appreciate your comments and everything. You got some good points and everything. And yes, the NFC North is wicked good this year. It's not very often that one division sends 3 teams to the playoffs. That's our reality this year. So speaking of which, I do want to get into that here, what we think is going to happen here, because the Packers could now turn around and do us a solid if they were able to win, and the Commanders could do us a solid if they were able to win, because if they do, we could end up, and of course, if we are able to beat LA, we could get a home playoff game and not have to face the Lions right out the gate 2 weeks in a row. As it sits right now, we need some help on that, because the football gods are just cruel enough as to where we would have to face both teams that are the only 2 teams that beat us in the regular season back to back in the playoffs if the Packers lose. So,
right.
Packers fans watching, you have one job. You have one job, Packers. You have to beat the Eagles. One job. Let's see what happens. But
see, as much as I'd love to host a playoff game, I can't do it. I want the Packers to lose. There's the adage that if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And if that means we have to go through Detroit a third time and beat them, and then possibly go to Philly, the NFC Championship game, and beat them,
right.
Fine. You're not going to go and beat the Chiefs or the Bills or whoever is going to be in the AFC or conference in the Super Bowl if you can't make it through Detroit and Philly.
No, that is true. So of things that went wrong, and there was quite a long list of them, what do you think are the top, let's just say the top 2, maybe 3 most correctable things we can do on a short turnaround? Well, it's not really short turnaround. It's Monday to Monday, but with travel involved and everything else, what's the top 2 to 3 things that we could do that's easily fixable for this team in order to be able to get the W in Arizona here Monday night? Of things that went wrong against the Lions, what's the most easily fixable, Matthew?
This is going to sound like a crazy comment. I don't think there's a whole lot to fix. Like we said, if Darnold just puts a little more touch and a little less oomph on those throws, those are quite possibly touchdowns in that game. Even if we don't win, it's obviously going to be a lot closer. I think our defense played a fucking great game for the first 2.5 quarters, and they just got gas because our offense didn't string anything together. I think Akers and Jones had okay games. The receivers were getting open. We just need to be able to connect. I was okay going for it on 4th down because against a team like Detroit that's going to put up points in bunches, you can't walk away with field goals. So I liked trying to go for the touchdowns there. So the play calling, in my opinion, was fine. It's just we need to calm down, relax. When we played Jacksonville, Darnold threw 3 picks. And after that, he had one of the best 8-game stretches I've seen a Viking quarterback have. So the team clearly still has his back. The coach clearly still has his back. I don't think he's too rattled. I think he comes back a little more calm. As unfortunate as the Fires are, Arizona is a very heavily Viking fan populated state, so it's going to be a way less intense atmosphere. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Just real quick before we continue, I did pull up the injury report. So as expected, Patrick Jones is going to be out. Aaron Jones, it was limited. That's a little bit concerning, but not so much when you saw what Cam Akers can step in and do as well. Ty Chandler did not participate with an illness, though. So we'll see what that is. And then Darnold, Fabian Moreau, not that he's really going to play much. Josh Oliver, those guys were all full participants. So for the most part, we should be pretty healthy heading into this game, just if that makes any kind of impact. And we were healthy going into the Lions too. We got dinged up a bit, but at least Jones did. So
I had pulled up the injury report from week 8 from when we faced the Rams, and we had on the injury report Dalton Reisner and TJ Hawkinson. However, they had the designation return. They were within their return to practice window.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with those guys in, and one of our defensive players out, I have a feeling it's going to be a lot closer than we were thinking. I just have one message. And yet the background and the font are different, but yes, because I'm a diehard Padre fan, but I have one message. Beat LA.
Nice. So Darian West chimes in. Darian's a Packer fan, and he comes on these shows and stuff. He says Saquon Barkley will be the majority reason the Eagles win in the playoffs. But if he's contained and Jalen Hurts has a heavy load, just claim concussion protocol, it betters Green Bay's chances. Yeah. The problem is just what you said, Darian, with them guys. Anybody know, or can you look up where the Packers are at for run defense? At one point in time, I thought that the Lions, Vikings, and Packers were all kind of top 10, top 15 run defense, and there was a long stretch in the season where the Vikings were number one. But where's the Packers at on run defense? Because that is going to be a tall order to accomplish, is containing Saquon Barkley.
So they finished the regular season 99.4, according to teamrankings.com. We were number 2 with 93.4. So we had the second best run defense in the entire league.
Right.
Yeah, I think the Packers finished like 7th in yards allowed on the ground.
So it's not like outside of the realm of possibilities. They're just going to have to be on their A game.
Yeah.
You know. Well,
and their linebackers, that Edgerrin Cooper that they keep talking about, I mean, he's just having a fantastic rookie season as their second-round pick. So he's going to be the key for the Packers defense to stop that run game.
Right.
Looking at all these run defenses, the North, we had number 2, which was us, number 5, Detroit, number 7, Green Bay, 28, Chicago. And coming in dead last in the entire league, Carolina. They sucked.
Yeah, Carolina. Well, so apparently Flores has at least 4 to 5 interviews lined up, as do multiple other Vikings assistant coaches and everything else. I don't want to see Flores leave. I'd like to at least have him around for one more year. I don't know what you guys think on that, but
this team throughout KOC's tenure, we haven't had 100% complete. We had Don Michelle as our defensive coordinator the first year that changed this team. Last year, we dealt with Kirk and JJ getting hurt. This year, we lose McCarthy and roll with Sam Darnold. Well, he's been fantastic. It still wasn't the plan. I want this drafted and developed McCarthy-led team with both our coaches next year. And this might be a controversial and popular take. I think a lot of these interview requests that Flores is getting are Rooney Rule requests. I don't know how many people actually truly want to bring him in to be their head coach. So hopefully he comes back here next year.
Yeah.
He's getting Rooney'd. And we've said this time and time again on this show. You can go back many, many weeks. With an open lawsuit still going on, he's going to be seen more as a liability than an asset until that thing is done.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We had. I mean, there's a lot of coaching vacancies. Shit.
6 of them.
Yes. I'm trying to just confirm. Yes, there's 6 coaching vacancies, and then, there's a couple sought after coaches and everything, and then you're going to have your usual, hey, we interviewed blah 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 and whatever. Just say they did it, and some of it unfortunately may be Rooney Rule related, but no, shoot, we lost Matthew. Damn it. But I would say Flores is probably top 3 out of the 6 teams or whatever that need a head coach. He would be on people's top 3 list on almost every one of those teams.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate for us.
Yeah. So the head coaching vacancies we have are Chicago, New England, that one was a surprise after 1 year of Gerard Mayo.
Right.
Jacksonville, Vegas was another surprise after they took the interim tag off of Antonio Pierce. New Orleans, and then the Jets. The Jets in Chicago have been open for quite some time.
Right.
I do think Jacksonville is going to be probably the most sought after because of Trevor Lawrence. His young age, he's going to be able to be molded into a very good quarterback of the future. They've got good ownership. There's no dysfunction with the GM. That's one I'm ranking as number one. So I see Ben Johnson going to Jacksonville, as he is from the Southeast area. And originally last year, he was tagged to be Carolina's choice, but he didn't even take any interviews, if I remember correctly.
Well, they list Jacksonville as like a prime destination just because of the weather. The players don't have to pay a state income tax, all this other stuff, and whatever. Not so much the fact that they have a hell of a roster built and they're a coach and a couple players away from making a run. It's just the quality of life or whatever, and that's why I mean Jacksonville is listed as a prime destination and everything.
And they're getting a new stadium too. Well, new stadium in quotations. It's going to be completely renovated with a closed roof.
Right. I think anymore, almost every stadium in the NFL wants, Buffalo Stadium is going to be an enclosed roof. Chicago's is probably going to be an enclosed roof. The NFL doesn't want open stadiums because as much as nostalgia is nice and everything, the way the NFL teams are built right now, how do we put this? They want the games to be decided by the talent of the players, not conditions, weather, blah, 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 whatever. Your home field advantage is going to be what your fans bring to the table, not what your stadium brings to the table, basically. And that's why. And look at all the problems. Oh, welcome back, Matthew. Look at all the problems with scheduling that has caused the NFL. And recently it's been Buffalo because of the snowfall, the postponements, the delays. You have to postpone. What does that do to the Buffalo Bills themselves? It's not an advantage, especially when it takes a day and a half or 2 days away from what they're trying to do on rest. If they're trying to make a playoff run, that they have to, play the next week and everything. And then they're all of a sudden on a short week, and it's the fault of, having 3 foot of snow in their own stadium. I mean, it's kind of cool to see. And the Packer fans do it too. They'll go scoop Lambeau Field out. It's kind of cool to see, but it's happened more than once in the past couple, 3-4 years and everything. And that's what the NFL wants to get away from. They want to schedule their damn games. Now, something like SoFi Stadium, you can't do anything about the fact that you have thousands of acres of forest fire that is giving you 70% air pollution. Even if they had the best filtration system or whatever in SoFi, you still have to stand outside. You still have to get in there. That's a good idea not to do that. I'm not talking about that. But when it comes to just natural weather occurrences like winter weather, that type of stuff, of course the NFL wants them all to they're going to insist probably that all new stadiums have an enclosed roof, even in Jacksonville, Chesty. So,
yeah.
I mean, the Bears.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Oh, so the Bears, I don't know. I'm sorry if you guys discussed this when I had to do it out for a second, but their new stadiums would be enclosed. So
right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, in Buffalo's, here's the thing. No one wants a repeat of what the Fog Bowl. I'm bringing up our old friends in Chicago. if anyone remembers the Fog Bowl.
Yeah.
Buffalo's new stadium in the overhang is going to have a very state-of-the-art technological system where it'll melt the snow up to, like they said, like 3 or 7 feet. Watched a video on it. It'll have like all these sensors, so it'll put like warm air down onto the upper decks and everything. So it'll melt the snow really quickly.
Jump into the comments quick. King Sathos says Aaron Glenn already turned down an interview with the Patriots. I heard that, and I heard that's not the only one that he turned down. That's the only one that I heard specifics on. Here's my question. If you're Lions fans watching, and I know we're on JB's channels right now and everything, so we do have Lions fans watching. Do you guys want Aaron Glenn to come back? Because, I mean, for a couple of years, I know a lot of Lions fans that, I mean, they actually changed their profile name to fire Aaron Glenn. Do you guys want him back, or are you fine if Aaron Glenn is accepted? Because he's probably also one of those, just like B-Flow for us, that's on the short list of coaches that is actually ones that teams want to hire, throughout this process. So if you're a Lions fan watching, chime in on the comments. Do you guys want Aaron Glenn back, or are you cool if he walks because you think that you can do, something different or whatever, something better, bringing the next man up or bringing in somebody outside the organization? I'd be real interested to hear that out of the Lions fans that are watching. Okay, so we got one chiming in. It says, yeah, we do want him back. I kind of figured that. And I also want to go and preface what I was saying was, you guys didn't really get that defense clicking the way it really should until last year. And then this year, it has been working so well that you're able to, have like 4 or 5 starters or starter material type of guys on, out, injured, IR, whatever, and still keep on playing tough. So that's my big question, Lions fans. But yeah, we'll let them guys chime in. If you were the Lions, would you do everything you could to try to keep him, or would you say bye? And then if the Lions lose, so what do we do if we lose B-Flow, and what do the Lions do if they lose Aaron Glenn? That's a good question. Anybody thought about that?
Yeah.
I would say my hope was that we could bring in Saleh, but it sounds like he's probably going to the 49ers. Outside of him, I'm not quite sure what other coordinators there are that are going to match B-Flow's ability to command this defense like he has. So I'm a little worried. We might have to poach some college or some young linebackers coaches that look promising. Who knows?
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn
go ahead.
supposedly is going to be getting the Saints job just because he has a past with the current staff there, and it would be like the natural fit. So I do see the Lions losing at least Aaron Glenn. I do think Ben Johnson's also going to go. So that means they would have to pretty much start all over.
Yeah, so King responded back. He says, no question, we want him back. Those idiots calling themselves fans were calling for his head early on when they went 1-6. Yeah, they were really doing it then. The thing of it is, a lot of them, they still don't. Yeah, I'm still seeing, like, anytime anything goes wrong, like when teams started piling 30 points on and everything. And, Aaron Glenn pulled out a masterclass last week. And I agree with Matthew Lestari here on the show that I think we shot ourselves in the foot more than because it's not that Detroit's defense shut down Justin Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, or whatever. Sam Darnold couldn't hit the fucking broadside of a barn if his life depended on it in that game. So, but still, kudos to Aaron Glenn. Had the best game plan that he could, and they executed it wonderful. And now he's asking, let's turn the question around on y'all. Would you accept Aaron Glenn as your defensive coordinator? We'd have to change up the style of our entire defense. Here's why I don't think we can afford to try. I mean, we ain't going to have a choice in the matter, but here's why I don't think we can afford to let Flores go. He has the guys on this team that is making the personnel to fit his defense. if you brought in a guy that was, I am a straight up 3-4 defense guy, or I'm a straight up 4-3 defense guy and everything, they change stuff around with, as well as we've seen, especially our top 3 free agents with Van Ginkel, with Grenard, with Cashman and everything, were brought specifically because B-Flow knew they could fit this system and do exactly what he wanted. They have Ivan Pace in there because he fits this defense. Byron Murphy heading to a Pro Bowl because he fits this defense. Arguably had one of his best seasons, and he had a couple good ones with the Cardinals.
Van Ginkel's the second team All-Pro.
Yeah, I did, Chesty. I dropped some photos there of our All-Pros and everything in the chat. If you want to load them, we can go through that here after a little bit. But I'm not sure.
I do not see them.
Okay, I'm not sure that Aaron Glenn, that we have the right kind of people. Aaron Glenn would have to coach the way B-Flow coaches, is what I'm getting at. Because I don't think we have the right kind of people to play the style of defense that Aaron Glenn wants. We don't have an Aiden Hutchinson. We don't have, a good-sized nose tackle. You got the cover corners and everything else. Our guys.
So we don't have Kirby Joseph.
Right.
All right. Here are our All-Pros: Andrew DiPola, JJ, and Gink.
Yes. So, yeah.
See, Apollo kind of looks like Bradley Cooper in that picture.
A little bit. So, anyways, we blew past our halftime commercial, so I suppose we should probably run that now. And then when we come back, let's start talking about this Rams game. Yeah, lots and lots of topics to talk about, guys. But we got to run a quick commercial here for the purpose of our Roku and Fire Stick TV channel. And the rest of the shows that you see in this network, we'll be right back with you in about a minute and a half.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.
All right, fellas, we're back after our commercial break. Thanks for sticking with us, those who are watching. Let's get into, before we really break down our game against the Rams, let's get into a few of the other games around the league first, because like we said at the beginning of the show, we in order to avoid facing, should we win against the Rams, in order to avoid facing the 2 teams that beat us in the regular season 2 times in a row in the playoffs, we would need some help. Specifically, we would need the Packers to beat the Eagles, and we would need the Commanders to beat the Buccaneers. Let's talk for a couple minutes. Does anybody have any faith in the Packers in this?
No.
I mean, I didn't have faith in them beating the Dallas. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Jair Alexander out. Watson out. I give them the old lax already.
Matthew?
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of faith in them against the Cowboys last year, and they slopped them. So, I mean, the Cowboys last year, their entire secondary was banged up, and I mean, they've clearly showed this year that they're not that good. So it's a completely different team. Philly is one of the strongest teams in the NFC. They have a 2,000-yard rusher, but the Packers have Josh Jacobs, who's been an absolute bowling ball runner this year. It's going to be the typical whoever has the ball last, whoever turns the ball over more, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think the Packers have much of a chance, but it's the Packers. They're 13-time world champs. Sometimes they just find a way to do it. So I hope they personally lose. I'll never cheer for the Packers, but it's not impossible. Just I don't think it's likely.
Yeah. Slow and Traces, I thought this was the Lions channel. We are on Jeremy Bullreich's Lions channel. He was a guest last week. We were hoping to get him back on today to discuss the game, but as a courtesy and everything, because we did play the game last week, we're on this channel again this week. So as well as many others. If you see the bottom, you can watch us on Roku TV, you can watch us on Fire Stick, all the same channels that you would find Smoke and Jeremy B. We're on there because we're all friends and we like to collaborate on shows. So yes, you're probably watching this on a Lions page and everything, but kudos to you on your victory and #1 seed and your first round bye. So we are talking Vikings, but we are talking all NFL on this show as well, just to clear that up. Speaking of which, moving on to the Commanders and Buccaneers, that gets a little dicey-er. My opinion is, yeah, I agree exactly. With what you said, we all thought the Cowboys would beat the Packers. There is a lot of credence to be had to that underdog mentality when a team feels they're the underdog. The Packers definitely are the underdog. They know it. The Eagles know it, and the underdog always fights harder. I think it could be an interesting game. I do think the Eagles will, just because of talent, be able to move that ball and get scores. I think it'll be close. I'm not going to put a score prediction on it. But let's move. We also, if we're to avoid facing the Lions, should we beat the Rams, and that's still a big if. But of things that need to go right other than us winning, we need the Commanders to beat the Buccaneers. That's a little more complicated. What do you think on that, Matthew Lustardi?
I'm a big Jaden Daniels guy. I think he's had a fantastic season. He's just kind of commanded that offense. They don't have a lot of weapons. They have Terry McLaurin and a decent run game, but that's about it. Baker Mayfield's just having a monster season as well. As neither defense is particularly great, so that's just going to be a touchdown for touchdown blow. I think Baker has the experience. I think the Bucs, obviously having just come up a ring a couple years ago, have the experience. Mike Evans is an absolute stud. I think the Bucs take that game, unfortunately. I think it's just going to be a little too much for Jaden Daniels.
So basically, home team 1.5 standard type of thing, right?
What's that?
Home team 1.5 against the spread standard type of thing. This is going to be a good game to watch, right?
Yeah, it should be super entertaining.
Yeah. Chesty?
While Baker bakes, Commander Jaden will rule the day.
Yeah.
You're pulling for the upset. You're saying the Commanders can pull this off.
Yes.
I mean, we need the Commanders to win, being Vikings, but I also, Baker Mayfield had done a Sam Darnold before Sam Darnold did a Sam Darnold, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the feel-good stories in the NFL. That whole thing is developing pretty nicely down there for him. What was that Mike Evans joke the other day?
I don't know.
There's one guarantee every year in the NFL. Mike Evans will hit two things: 1,000 yards and Marshawn Lattimore. I heard that one.
Yeah, that's accurate.
No, Mike Evans is great. I usually have him on at least one fantasy team every year, and I did this year. I couldn't believe the amount of injuries to the Buccaneers earlier in the year, just because I had Godwin as well. I had them both, and there was a time where Godwin's gone for the year and everything. Mike Evans came back, still salvaged his 1,000-yard season, which I kind of figured he would, because he is damn good. So that team has had to overcome some stuff too this year with injuries and with shit just not going their way and everything. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that one. Let's cruise some AFC things real quick before we get into our matchup. Not that it really pertains to anything, but where I'm going with this is, should the Vikings be able to get to the Super Bowl, and I think anybody watching the show is going to start laughing and commenting just because I said that. But I would love to see a Super Bowl where you have two teams that have never won play each other, whether that's us or the Lions, representing that. And obviously everybody's going to say that the Lions have a much better chance of being able to do that than we do right now. And they would not be wrong. If you had to see an AFC team, so your choices are basically the Bills. And Chesty, have the Chargers ever won one?
Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I don't believe so.
I don't
I think
so.
the Chargers and Texans both have never won.
Chargers and so Chargers, Texans, and the Bills are your choices in the AFC. The Chargers and Texans are playing themselves in about an hour or 2 hours from now, roughly. Who do you guys like in that game? Who do you want to see win? I personally am a fan of the Texans just because their fans are awesome. They're some of the most fun people I've ever met and tailgated with. And I think they have an ass ton of talent on that team. Things may not have went the way that they wanted to for a stretch or two this year. But I also am not a big fan of Harbaugh by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going for the Texans in that. How about you guys?
If you would have asked me 6-7 weeks ago, I'd say Houston, but CJ Stroud he's been kind of struggling lately. They don't have Stephon Diggs. Joe Mixon's still running really well. Their defense is playing really well. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson are obviously a really good bookend. But Justin Herbert has been playing extremely well. Their run game's been clicking. Harbaugh's a good coach. I think the Chargers take it, but I would like the Texans to win, but I think the Chargers do take it.
Right on.
Texans by a long shot.
Okay, perfect. Next, Steelers and Ravens. So now we're talking about two teams that I just don't have a lot of love for. I don't hate them. I just don't have a lot of love for them. The Steelers will permanently be on my shit list because of the Super Bowl where they beat us. And we've consistently throughout the years always struggled with them, although we have had a couple real nice highlights that have come out of games versus the Steelers. The Ravens, it's just, here's the deal. You guys already know I'm not the biggest fan of Lamar Jackson, not because he's not good, but because of how he's utilized and the fact that he is the focal point, although some can you can make your Derrick Henry argument here in a second. But I'm going to say on that team, what are the Ravens? They are Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. And then, you can throw Zay Flowers in there or whatever else. But
he's
really, out. What's that?
Zay Flowers is out.
I'm pretty sure he's out now and everything. I'm just saying as the team.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He ain't going to play today. He's out for the rest of the year, I think. But, I don't know. Both of them teams have won Super Bowls. I might just lean towards the Steelers a little bit on this one, just because I think that the Ravens would probably be favored in it, and I want to see once what happens with the Russell Wilson redemption tour. That's the best I can give. What do you got, Matthew?
I'm going to pick the Ravens, and that's the one I'm going to say is not even close. I feel like, and I'm probably going to get corrected if I'm probably wrong, but I feel like I heard a stat that said in Mike Tomlin's entire coaching career as a Steeler, he's only won the playoffs 4 times. And so more often than not, when they make the playoffs, they're one and done. But so was Lamar Jackson. He's 2-4 in the playoffs. He's a regular season stud, but then he just kind of falls apart in the playoffs. They only have one receiver right now, and that one receiver is Rashad Bateman. But I think that the Steelers just kind of crumble. I think the Ravens win by double digits.
Yeah.
Ravens by a field goal.
Okay. Philip says Jackson's glorified Vic. To be honest, you can't argue with Jackson's numbers, but yeah. And how is that sustainable? And it's not good for playoff football. And that's why, like Matthew just said, Lamar Jackson's a stud in the regular season. He'll be the MVP like every year as long as, shit doesn't fall apart on that team. But then you get to the playoffs and, he don't win.
Yeah. His passing is a lot better this year. Like he's got over 40 touchdowns, which a lot of those are rushing touchdowns. But his arm has definitely improved over the last couple of years. But again, you need the talent to throw to, and they only have Rashad Bateman right now.
Okay, so we're going to culminate with the last one before we get to our game for the last 10 minutes. Broncos and Bills. I'm going to straight up tell you right now the dream I've had for years is for both top 2 Super Bowl losing teams, which is the Vikings and the Bills, have lost 4. The Vikings throughout the 70s, the Bills 4 in a row. 2 of the best fan bases with the VWO, all the Vikings clubs. The Bills Mafia is, if you've never tailgated with the Bills Mafia, you have to do that. Put that on your list. Make plans to go to Buffalo or make plans to go see your team if they ever come play you, because they will travel. That is a must experience. I'm going to say I'm not a fan of the Broncos at all, although I do respect what Bo Nix did coming out of college, especially with the doubters, and I was one of them. He is first half of the season, I was kind of like, and I was like, shit, he turned out to be good. I want the Bills to win this one. I don't know that they are going to, but if ever anybody had a chance to unseat the Kansas City Chiefs right now, it would not be the Bills, but of the teams in the playoffs right now, I don't see it's the Bills, the Broncos, or the Ravens. I don't see anybody else being able to do it. I want to go with the team that's never won one. Buffalo Bills is my pick today. They're going to beat the Broncos. Matthew?
Yeah, Josh Allen's just too godly this season. He's having a monster year. And again, same with him with Lamar Jackson. He has nobody really to throw to outside of Amari Cooper. They have James Cook as a really solid running back, but he's single-handedly carrying that offense, and he's winning when he's doing it. Denver is a sneaky good team, though. Bo Nix has a really strong arm. They have Butthole Ice as a head coach, as a Super Bowl winning head coach. So I think that's honestly, outside of our game and the Packers game, that's my most anticipated game of the week. I think the Broncos could shock some people, but Buffalo should take that game. I want Buffalo to win.
Chesty?
I've got one thing to say. Let's go, Buffalo!
Yes.
I'll always cheer for Sean Payton to lose.
I will tell you that I hate Sean Payton with the fire of 1,000 burning suns. That man will never do anything redeemable in my eyes ever again in the NFL. I wouldn't piss on that man if he was on fire.
Oh.
Fuck Sean.
What if he became the Vikings head coach? Would you still?
I'd be a Bills fan.
I would up my car insurance policy, and I would leave you guys to inherit the show by a accident. I don't know, man. I could not handle Sean Payton having anything to do with Minnesota, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's a Minnesota fan or has anything to do with the Minnesota organization pretty much feels the same way about that man too. So, yeah. But okay, let's get down. What do we have to do to get this W on Monday night?
Connect to the passes.
Yes, I mean that would be a good start right there. Okay, so let's say Darnold reverts back to actually showing some level of competence as an NFL quarterback. We're able to move the ball like what we were able to move the ball the first time against the Rams and everything. So, okay, stuff is not stalling out. The problem is not Darnold. What else do we have to do on that team? Because I know Puka Nacua is going to be a problem. Kupp is going to be a problem. Stafford, we have got to get pressure on him. What do we got to do different this time than we did last time to be able to beat that team? Granted, it's in a neutral stadium, but I do feel like there will be more Rams fans there than fucking cats, than Vikings fans and whatever. What do we got to do different this time in order to get that W?
Well, I think the difference between this game and the last game we played in is last game, even Tom Pelissero said the team didn't find out Puka was starting until the day before the game. And so you can't game plan against a guy that you don't know is playing. So at least now we have a full week to game plan against him. And the Lions offense is way better than the Rams offense. And we stuck it to him for 2.5 quarters last week. I'm not worried about our defense. I'm worried about Sam Darnold's leg, and I'm worried about Aaron Jones being banged up. Daniel Jones is signed to the active roster, so maybe if Sam Darnold doesn't go back to being a solid quarterback, I wonder if we see Daniel Jones in the second half because he's got mobility. He's got, quote, playoff experience against us. I don't know. I think, again, like I said last week, I think we just need to keep playing the same ball that we've been playing all season and just, I don't know.
So what we got to do is, now that we've got Hawk back, we've got Reisner back, we've got so many different players back from when we played them in the regular season. I have a very good feeling that if we just do what we have been, we will be fine. But we just cannot let up on the gas come second half. We cannot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the mentality is a big part of it too, because we had just gotten done playing a very, very tough game on a short week against the Detroit Lions the first time that we played them. We got physically, both teams had people get injured. We're pretty beat up playing. Two of the top teams in the NFC, hitting each other up. I think we went on the road thinking it was going to be an easier team. We didn't have that underdog mentality. I think if the team, it doesn't matter what the fans do, except, if they show up and they're loud, that's awesome too. If the team has that underdog mentality, it's where they need to put their nose to the grindstone, get to work, play solid football, protect the ball, create turnovers, let Grenard and Van Ginkel and Cashman and Ivan Pace wreak havoc the way that they've been doing all year. I think we have a chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I would rather play the Rams than the Bucks, honestly. When the seeding was going on, I was nervous about us having to go on the road to Tampa Bay because their offense is so explosive. I think we can stack up defensively against the Rams. But yeah, our offense needs to come in healthy, stay healthy. But yeah, we just got to convert. We have the ball in the 15-yard line. We got to get touchdowns. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Broski Bear, I'm not super upset about it being on a Monday night. It gives us an extra day to recover from a Lions game. And the Vikings usually, going into the playoffs, we always have that crazy end of the year win and then have the letdown in the playoffs. Whereas this year we had the crazy win against the Packers and had our letdown against the Lions in the last week. I think we're going to come in a little more motivated. We got that kick to the face. We got that slice of humble pie going into the Monday night. So I'm not super upset about it.
I actually like it. I really do. It's a unique opportunity for Wild Card Weekend to stretch an additional day.
Yeah.
I don't like having stuff so spread out. I just as soon have all the AFC games on, right off the bat. Let's get this stuff rolling at noon on Saturday. Start right off the bat at noon on Sunday with all the NFC games and everything. And let's stop, now we got to, you have to stay up late on Monday night because your team's, everybody's got to work in the morning unless, you had to, I'm in a relatively new, with a new company and a new position and everything after recently retiring out of the military and everything, just started in the civilian workforce. I don't have the kind of paid time off accrued yet after 2 months or whatever, to be able to go taking vacations and stuff like that, to go watch it in person or anything. So yeah, we're going to watch on TV and then, everybody's got to get up in the morning and work, but that's the only complaint really. But
go ahead. If we win and have to go out to Detroit, I'm pretty sure that Detroit plays Saturday. So we'd have a short week technically going into the Saturday game.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say Minnesota 28, Rams 27. That's about the best I can give you. So, but
I'll say Vikings 24, Rams 21.
Matthew, Chesty.
The betting line is a 1-point favorite. I'm going to go 30-28. Your Minnesota Vikings!
All right, Skull. We'll see you back here next Saturday. We are out of time. You guys have a great one. Thanks for watching.
This is our first playoff.
Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before. Imagine tuning into real-time discussions, expert analyses, and fan interactions all at your fingertips. Each platform offers a unique experience, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. We're not just sharing stories, we're creating a community of passionate sports enthusiasts. Join us as we dive deep into the evolution of podcasting, where every episode is a chance to engage, debate, and celebrate the world of sports. This is where your voice matters and the game never stops. Welcome to the Huddle Sports Network, where we're breaking boundaries and redefining podcasting. Broadcasting live on 6 different platforms, we're bringing you the latest in sports like never before, where sports passion meets podcasting brilliance. I'm Mike, the Bear fan, and alongside Bill, the Packer fan, and our buddy Ken Catalone, we're bringing you an incredible lineup of 38 diverse podcasters. Each one brings their unique flavor to the table, covering everything from game analysis to behind-the-scenes stories. Imagine diving deep into the minds of experts who live and breathe football, sharing insights that you won't find anywhere else.